Horizon Zero Dawn is an absolute classic in the PlayStation catalog, but I've never played it. The PS4 disc has been collecting dust on my shelf for years, then they released the PS5 remaster. So a £10 upgrade and a 90 gig download later, I was thrust into this beautiful post-apocalyptic open world experience in the magical land of Colorado and Utah. I can't believe I didn't play this game sooner because it's actually pretty mind-blowing, but I need a break from bow and arrows for a little while. I genuinely didn't know anything about this game, so I was pretty surprised to see that it was basically a full-on RPG, and the story is phenomenal, so it didn't take long for me to get absolutely hooked. The platinum is pretty straightforward: do the story and some side quests, get some collectibles, and level up. This gives us 56 trophies for the main game, but I'm also doing the Frozen Wilds DLC, which gives me a total of 77 trophies. There's a lot to take in, and I'm going to do my best to explain the story and everything that's going on. So without further ado, it's Zero Dawning time. We're in the 31st century, and the Earth has been reclaimed by nature and overrun by these animal/dinosaur-like machines. These machines used to coexist peacefully with the humans. However, due to an event referred to as the derangement, the machines started acting more aggressive. Even though they generally just mind their own business, if they see you, then it's game on. The current humans are not as technologically advanced as their ancestors, who they refer to as the Old Ones. And because of this, they've been separated into tribes. There are 4 main tribes in this game. The Nora, a deeply religious hunter-gatherer society isolated to the south, who worship a deity called the All-Mother. The Osseram tribe, who are more technologically advanced than the other tribes due to their engineering and crafting skills. The Banuk are a nomadic tribe that generally keep to themselves up in the harsh, snowy mountains. We don't see much of the Banuk in this game, but they are the main focus of the DLC. And the Kaja tribe, who worship the sun and have a rich history. Their politics and ideals are a major focus of this game, but more on that later. Our main protagonist is this baby Aloy. Obviously we don't play as a baby. I mean, could you imagine? Aloy's adoptive dad Rost takes her to get her name blessed by Tiasa, one of the matriarchs of the Nora tribe. But the other matriarchs disapprove because both Rost and Aloy are considered outcasts of the tribe. Aloy is an outcast because she was found inside the All-Mother mountain as a baby. They don't know where she came from, so instead of just being decent human beings and looking after a defenseless baby, they palmed her off to Rost, who was outcast for basically avenging his daughter's death. Years earlier, Outlanders killed his daughter, and in order to get revenge, he had to be given the role of Death Seeker. This lets you leave the Nora area to basically commit murder, but it's with the idea that you die in the process. However, Ross survived and made his way back to the Nora tribe, where they nursed him back to health, but ultimately exiled him. They allowed him to stay nearby and put him in charge of raising Aloy. 6 years later, and Aloy is still getting the cold shoulder from the rest of the tribe.
Children, come with me.
Damn, these people are assholes. She runs off and falls into a cave where she finds a device called a focus. This helps us scan machines in the game to see their weaknesses and also lets us see details of old technology from what they call the metal world. While Ross is teaching us how to hunt, we spot a boy named Teb failing hardcore at some parkour. See what I did there? So using our focus, we go and save him from the machines and get our first trophy. Look, I know we shouldn't talk bad about kids, but this little dude is an asshole.
Stay away, no mother.
I gotta give him props for the slurs though. But we get a chance to retaliate, and I choose violence. Damn it, Rost. Aloy is desperate to find out where she came from and who her mother is, and Rost explains that the only way to have a chance at doing so is by completing the proving. This is a ritual for the young whippersnappers to become fully fledged members of the tribe, and it's gonna take years to prepare for, so cut to the most epic training montage since Rocky, and now Aloy is all grown up. Rost explains that after the proving, they won't be able to see each other anymore because he will still be an outcast. And as a final test, we have to kill a sawtooth, which is probably one of the most annoying machines in the game so far. But we get a trophy. We reconnect with Teb. Yeah, he definitely wants to smash. Don't worry guys, it's not weird. She's 18. I checked. Members from the Kaja tribe show up to observe the proving. They also bring a message of peace from their current king, Avad. Until recently, the Kaja were led by the 13th king, Jiren, who was a bit of a nutjob. Think the Mad King from Game of Thrones. He would sacrifice humans from other tribes to the machines, and then eventually members of his own tribe. This is referred to in the game as the Red Raids. King Jiren's own son Avad killed him and took the throne in order to stop him, and this in turn started a civil war which led to the Karja being split into two, the Karja and the Karja in the Shadow, aka the Shadow Karja. The Nora initially reject this message, so Erend from the Ossarum tribe steps in. He's part of the Vanguard, which serves as a military security unit for the king. While he's talking, Aloy spots another man with a focus device named Olin. Olin quickly leaves after his focus malfunctions when looking at Aloy, and then Erend tries to lay down some riz on her, but Aloy brushes him off because it's time for the proving. We get a trophy for blowing the backs out of 10 machines and for coming first in the proving, but the celebrations are short-lived when a cult of the Shadow Karja tribe shows up and attacks everyone. Ross shows up and sacrifices himself to save Aloy by shoving her off a cliff. Thanks, man. Aloy is taken to safety inside the Sacred Mountain, and using another focus that she got from one of the cult members, she sees a woman who looks exactly like her and has a 99% match to her DNA. So that's gotta mean something. Tiasa tells us that we were born from the mountain and not of a woman, essentially calling us the chosen one. And the All-Mother that they worship is basically a door with a built-in Siri, which has now been corrupted. Tiasa then gives us the role of Seeker, which lets us leave the tribe area so that we can go and find a way to fix evil Siri. As we're approaching the border, we have to kill a corruptor machine, which is going on a rampage and controlling some of the other machines. This gives us our first introduction to corrupted machines, which have this red aura coming off them and are a lot more aggressive than normal machines. Aloy kills the corruptor and uses the tech to create her own overriding tool. This turns the machines good for a while and also lets us ride some of them.
It worked. There we go.
There's these massive machines called tall necks, which we need to climb and override to reveal more of the map. Our first one gives us a trophy. There's a bunch of training trials scattered around a map called Hunting Grounds, and while doing one of them, I got trophies for reaching level 10, getting a half sun rating for all 3 trials at one hunting ground, and for my first weapon modification. There's areas around the map called Corrupted Zones, which are just a group of corrupted machines that we need to clear, and clearing the very first Corrupted Zone and the second Corrupted Zone in the Nora region both give us trophies. I also got a trophy for stealth killing 10 machines. We're on our way to Meridian, which is the biggest out of the main cities in the game. This is where the Karja reside, and we're going there to find Olin and ask him about his focus. This is where the map really opens up and we're shown the scale of this world. There's loads of different creatures, landscapes, and collectibles such as metal flowers, vantage points, ancient vessels, and Banuk figures. The first of each of the collectibles gives us a trophy, as well as for finding all of them. Erend greets us at Meridian, and we search Olin's apartment, where we find an order to kill Aloy. We also agree to help Erend find out who killed his sister, the leader of the Vanguard.
Apparently they're letting anyone into the city these days.
Typically when I do platinums, I like to do some of the collectibles and side missions alongside the story so that it doesn't feel like a massive grind at the end. But with Horizon Zero Dawn, I pretty much did all of the collectibles and side quests before even doing most of the story. I just had so much fun exploring, and I wanted to level up and get the best weapons so that I could breeze through the story. Even though the game suggests a level you should be at to attempt a certain quest, it's always better to be a bit higher. So on my travels, I stumbled across a place called the Cauldron. This is an underground facility where the machines are actually built, and it's here where you learn how to override different types of machines. And doing the first one gets us another trophy. Continuing with the story, we need to look for a woman called Sona, who's the war chief of the Nora tribe. We find her and get ambushed by some cult members who have some corrupted machines. After killing them, we find out where their home base is, get trophies for getting 30 headshots on human enemies, taking out my first bandit camp, and killing all types of recon machines. We take out the home base along with Nora. This is a rock breaker, arguably the most annoying machine in the game, but I'm the GOAT, so I got it first try. Okay, second try, but it gave me a trophy. After overriding all of the tall necks and revealing the entire map, we get another trophy. This prompted me to go and find a machine called a behemoth. Okay, maybe this is the most annoying machine in the game. It was no easy task, but it earned me a trophy. When you scan an enemy, it tells you what its strengths and weaknesses are, and there's a trophy for killing a machine with ammo type that uses its weakness. Overriding 7 different types of machines also gave me a trophy. Okay, maybe I lied. The Stormbirds are the most annoying machines. As we're making our way to track down Olin, a mysterious voice starts talking to Aloy through the focus. After defeating the cult members and corruptors, we confront Olin, who tells us these cult members call themselves the Eclipse, and instead of worshipping the sun, they worship a devil called Hades. Hades spoke to Olin when he saw Aloy, and that's why he said it malfunctioned. Olin says the Eclipse are digging up old war machines called Deathbringers, because he thinks they want to overthrow the current king and take back Meridian. Olin also saw a picture of that same woman that looks like Aloy in a place called Maker's End. Helis, the leader of the Eclipse, basically threatened Olin's family and blackmailed him into helping them, and because they all have focuses, Olin couldn't warn Aloy about the attack at the Proving. On our way to Maker's End, come across Erend and investigate the site where his sister was killed. We follow the tracks and are met with some members of the Ossurum, which, by the way, if you've lost track, is Erend's own tribe. After defeating them and examining the site, we come to the conclusion that it wasn't actually Ursa that was killed. Erend goes back to Meridian to double check the body in the morgue, and I go do some more exploring. It was at this point that I became obsessed. All I wanted to do was play this game and explore every inch of it. So I did that, but there was one problem. This map is pretty big and you can fast travel, however you need to keep buying fast travel packs. That's until I discovered the infinite fast travel pack. You need a few special resources in order to buy this, but it's so worth it. I got a trophy for reaching level 25 and clearing all the bandit camps. I then went and found all of the ancient vessels, metal flowers, Banuk figures, and all of the vantage points except for one. I came back to this later. I got a trophy for tearing off heavy weapons from 5 machines, killing all combat machines, and getting a Blazing Sun rating at one of the hunting grounds. There was one cauldron left, which would give me a trophy and also the ability to override all the machines. If you're going to play this game, I recommend using the Ropecaster and Tear Blaster as much as possible. Now that I could override all the machines, I went to do the final hunting ground, which required me to override Ravagers. I'd earned a Blazing Sun rating at all hunting grounds, which gave me another trophy. These Blazing Suns give us access to the Hunter's Lodge in Meridian. This is a sort of elite hunting organization, to put it simply. But the leader, Assis, who's an absolute prick by the way, says the only way we can join is if we get a sponsor. In order to even get a sponsor, we have to prove ourselves by getting 3 Sawtooth trophies, 2 Ravager trophies, and 1 Stalker trophy. We bring these to Talana, who agrees to sponsor us if we help out a villager who's being attacked by Glinthawks. Aloy goes to investigate and finds that the reason behind the Glinthawk attacks is because of a massive pile of Snapmaw carcasses upstream. The hunters behind this are Vashard and Omar, who are hunting Snapmaw hearts to pay off a debt. We hunt a couple of Snapmaw to help them pay off their debt, and they agree to stop hunting so that the Glinthawks will go away. Talana officially sponsors Aloy, while Assis goes to find a machine known as Redmaw, a sort of legendary Thunderjaw that has claimed the lives of many hunters, but more on that later. In order to improve our ranking in the Hunter's Lodge, Talana makes us hunt a Stormbird and Thunderjaw for trophies. When we return to the lodge to give Talana the trophies, Legan tells us that Assis found Redmaw and is trying to take it on by himself, so Talana went to help him. We're able to catch up to them and take down Redmaw. But Assis succumbs to his wounds during the battle, and honestly, he kinda deserved it. I only had 2 corrupted zones left to clear, one of them being the behemoths, but I found this cheese method and I hit level 40 in the process, giving me another trophy. 2 corrupted rock breakers, like come on bro, like why wouldn't it be? Continuing with the story, we head to Maker's End and find the Eclipse with a Deathbringer machine.
Rotate turret! And fire! weapons operational.
Scanning it gives us a trophy for cataloging all types of machines.
Now.
That'll help.
Aloy picks up an eclipse focus and hears the voice of Hades for the first time.
What is this?
The entity lives. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
At the ruins, we come across a door similar to the one at Sacred Mountain, but this one scans us and refers to us as Dr. Sobek and lets us in.
Genetic profile confirmed. Entry authorized. Greetings, Dr. Sobek.
A hologram plays which shows a conversation between Ted Faro and Elizabeth Sobek, Aloy's mysterious doppelganger. Turns out Maker's End is the headquarters of a company called Faro Automated Solutions, who's the manufacturer of the Corruptor and Deathbringer machines, whose original purpose was for military applications to keep the peace. But some of these machines had glitched, which caused them to go rogue, and Ted is unable to shut them down.
Are you telling me a swarm has gone rogue, Ted?
It's worse than that.
This isn't a glitch. It's a catastrophe.
Another problem is that the machines need to feed off biological matter to sustain themselves, and they actually can replicate themselves. And at the rate they're going, they say the Earth would be stripped bare in 15 months, causing an extinction level event.
We're talking extinction.
So Dr. Sobek suggests a protocol called Zero Dawn. Ted seems to have a problem with this protocol, but he eventually agrees to fund it. After learning all of this, a man named Silence appears in the focus. This turns out to be the man behind the voice that's been talking to Aloy through her focus, and he also wants to learn more about the old ones. To find out more information on Project Zero Dawn, we head to Gravehorde in the far northwest of the map. This is in the ruins of a BOR-7 Horus machine, which is essentially a cauldron on legs, but the tribes refer to it as a metal devil. Inside Gravehorde, another Deathbringer and some Eclipse members are waiting for us, and we find some more holograms showing conversations between some military commanders, Dr. Sobek and Ted Faro. They discuss something called Project Enduring Victory. This would buy them a bit of time to get Project Zero Dawn ready.
We put a railgun in the hand of every civilian strong enough to carry one, show them where the trigger is, and point them to the front? How the hell do we sell that?
The file I'm sending contains the war plan for Operation Enduring Victory.
They mention an orbital launch base, which is where Project Zero Dawn was actually being built, and it's underneath Sunfall, the capital of the Shadow Carja. You see, the Shadow Carja fully supported the mad 13th King Jiren, and after the Carja civil war, they left Meridian and claimed Sunfall as their new home. And because the Eclipse is a cult within the Shadow Carja, as soon as Aloy steps foot in Sunfall, she'll be recognized through the focuses of the Eclipse members. So Aloy suggests crashing the focus network, which is being broadcast through an old tallneck, and we make a narrow escape after Hades recognizes us and orders the machines to attack us.
Entity has come here. Entity miscalculated. Entity cannot destroy me. I am beyond its reach.
Maybe you are. But this isn't!
Destroy the entity.
No.
As we enter Sunfall, we meet King Itamen, another son of the 13th King Jiren and half-brother of King Avad. The Shadow Carja claimed King Itamen as the rightful Sun King because they didn't want to follow King Avad. One of his head lieutenants, Bahavas, offers a bounty to kill a traitor known as Uthid.
To the hunter who brings his head to us shall go a bounty of 500 shards.
A woman named Vanasha speaks to us in the crowd, and she says that Uthid is innocent. This opens up another side quest which is needed for a trophy, however I came back to this later in the game. We descend into the orbital launch base beneath the city, and opening another door clears the vents, which alerts some Shadow Cadre above. A hologram of General Harris plays, basically admitting that Project Enduring Victory was a lie and that global extinction was always inevitable. The machines are duplicating too fast, and cracking the code to take them down would take at least 50 years. However, the Earth only had 16 months of survival left.
This is the horrible truth behind the lies of Operation Enduring Victory. My lies. Lies designed to inspire millions of innocents to sacrifice themselves in battle, to buy time for you, and the work you will do here.
A hologram of Dr. Sobek explains that Project Zero Dawn was a terraforming system created to restore the Earth after the extinction. In charge of this system is an AI named Gaia, basically an AI version of Mother Nature, split into 9 subsets in order to cultivate the Earth and repopulate humanity.
You don't have to build the entire system. The beauty of a fully automated terraforming system is that it can build itself.
Gaia would also construct the transmission arrays necessary to shut down the rogue machines, and also create the current machines whose original purpose was to detoxify the atmosphere and clean the Earth.
From detoxifying the Earth's ravaged atmosphere and poisoned seas.
Once the Earth was deemed fit enough to repopulate, a subset known as Eleuther would activate. This had the ability to birth and raise humans to repopulate the Earth. The Sacred Mountain happens to be one of these facilities. Another one of the subsets, Apollo, was a directory of all knowledge of human history and culture. This was designed to give the new humans a head start on their development and technology. A hologram of a scientist named Margot Shen explains that a subset known as Hephaestus was responsible for the creations of the new machines in the cauldrons. Obviously the machines weren't always aggressive, but as the humans started hunting machines for parts, Hephaestus recognized this as hostile and started making the machines with the intention of being aggressive to humans. This explains the derangement, which we talked about earlier in the video. We learn about another subset known as Hades, the same Hades that the Eclipse worship. It was created as a failsafe to destroy everything in case Gaia didn't get it right the first time. Essentially a reset button so she could start again. And actually Hades had already been activated twice before, and for some reason he's been activated now, but we don't know why. We head into Dr. Sobek's office and find the Alpha Registry. This is a list of all people allowed to access Gaia and her subsets. This will eventually allow us to open the All-Mother door at the Sacred Mountain. While Aloy is copying the Alpha Registry to her focus, she's ambushed by Helis and the Eclipse. She's taken prisoner in the main arena at Sunfall to be made a sacrifice to the Sun God. As we fight Corruptors and a behemoth, Silence shows up in person and rescues us. Helis destroyed Aloy's focus, however Silence was able to copy everything she had ever scanned and upload it to a new focus. To retaliate, Helis orders an attack on the Nora tribe. We successfully hold them back, and with the Alpha Registry, we're able to access the All-Mother.
Error. Alpha Registry corrupted. Correction. Alpha Registry restored. Genetic identity confirmed. Entry authorized. Greetings, Dr. Sobek. You are clear to proceed.
We discover it was in fact Eleuther 9, one of the facilities to birth and raise the humans. A hologram of Gaia plays, and she explains that an unknown signal was sent to her in an attempt to turn all of the subsets into independent AIs. This activated the Hades protocol, which would wipe the slate clean, even though life was flourishing. So to stop Hades, Gaia self-destructed. But before that, she ordered the Eleuther facility to basically birth a clone of Dr. Sobek from her DNA samples, aka Aloy. Gaia predicted that the Nora tribe would raise Aloy, and when she was old enough, she would find a focus device, view this message, and reboot Gaia, since she has a 99% match to her DNA. But while she was speaking, Hades launched a virus allowing itself and all the subsets to roam free, and also corrupt the Alpha Registry, making it so that Aloy wouldn't be able to access the facility in the first place, which is why we had to find the original Alpha Registry, which would allow us to access Gaia. She tells us to go to the ruins of the Gaia Prime facility to find the Master Override, which would allow us to purge and destroy Hades.
In response to my act of self-destruction, Hades has launched a virus to dissolve the code shackles that hold it, that hold all of them. virus is corrupting data throughout the system. What if... Oh. The Alpha Registry at the Cradle facility is one of the files corrupted. But if that is so, the door will never open for you. You will never view this message. Then I have failed. And life will end. No. No, Elizabeth, I know you too well. Somehow you will find a way. In you, all things are possible. Go to the ruins of Gaia Prime. Find the control room, and within it, the Master Override. This will give you the power to purge Hades so long as you find a way to wield it. Do not attempt repair of the system core until Hades is eradicated. Hades must be destroyed.
I'm not a person. I'm an instrument. Manufactured by a machine. Born in destruction and fire.
To quench the flames and heal the world. How tragic to learn you're a person of towering importance. It seems you have a destiny to fulfill. So when you're done feeling sorry for yourself, go to the bitter climb. I'll be waiting above in Gaia Prime's ruins.
In order to get to Gaia Prime, you need to take out this Stormbird. Remember him? He was guarding the last vantage point. A hologram of all the alphas involved in Project Zero Dawn plays, and they explained that an error with Gaia's access ports would allow for it to be discovered and destroyed by the rogue machines at the time. This could only be fixed from the outside, but all of the alphas were locked inside the facility for their own safety. So Dr. Sobek created the Shield Weaver armor and sacrificed herself to fix the ports and protect Gaia.
Goodbye.
While her people bickered, she was the one who took responsibility.
She was better than them.
That's not what I said.
She was.
In the next area are a bunch of skeletons and another hologram plays.
Locked out of core control. Alpha clearance overridden. What the hell is Omega clearance? Oh no.
Alpha personnel. Sorry to alarm you, but I need you to listen, okay? To what I'm about to say. This isn't easy. See, please, stop trying to access the set system, okay? See, what this is about is, I said stop trying to access the goddamn system. And what I'm trying to say is, I can't stop thinking about the ones who'll come after us. Those innocents. Those blameless men and women. We're gonna give them knowledge? Like it's a gift?
Ted, we've talked about this before. Apollo has 3,000 plus fail-safe conditions.
It's not a gift, it's a disease. They're the cure, and we're gonna give them the disease. Our disease? No, we can't. And it's not too late. If we're willing to sacrifice.
Ted, it doesn't need to be like this.
It already is, Samina. I did it 3 minutes ago. I've purged Apollo. It's gone. All of it. Every copy.
Sacrifice? It's not a sacrifice, it's cultural obliteration, you crazy bastard! Millennia of culture.
I'm sorry. Really, I am. But sometimes, to protect innocence, innocents have to die.
Emergency alert. Planting atmosphere.
A hologram of Ted Fire appeared before the Alphas and purged all copies of Apollo, sabotaging the new generation. He was too worried that the new generation of humans would repeat their mistakes, and then he purged the Alphas. We find a Master Override to defeat Hades, and Silence shows up to give us his spear. He explains that he was the one that discovered Hades and founded the Eclipse. He said that Hades wanted to know about the Spire in Meridian. The Spire was built by the subset Minerva, which was in charge of transmitting the codes to deactivate the Corruptors and Deathbringers. Hades wants to send a transmission to wake up all of the Deathbringers and exterminate all life on Earth again. While Silence was working with Hades, he manipulated some of the Shadow Carja into following Hades as their new sun god. But once Silence questioned Hades' intentions, a kill order was put out on him, making him a fugitive. After finding all of the power cells, I was able to unlock the secret bunker and get the Shield Weaver armor, and man oh man is this thing OP. We head back to Meridian to find out what happened to Ursa, Eren's sister. Eren confirms that the body in the morgue wasn't hers, and they conclude that the only person who would want to hurt Ursa is an ex-Osirian warlord named Dervahl. Dervahl had a grudge against the 13th Sun King Jiren, who murdered his wife and daughter. This rage consumed him so much that he wanted to destroy Meridian and all of the Karja along with it. This vendetta extended to King Avad, claiming he robbed Dervahl of the right to his revenge on King Jiren. He also has a vendetta against Eren and Ursa for siding with Avad, but even more so with Ursa, who rejected him. Aloy warns King Avad of the coming danger with Hades, but he doesn't seem to fully grasp it. We find Ursa barely alive, and Eren says goodbye as she succumbs to her wounds, but not before she warns us about Dervahl's plans to blow up Meridian. Dervahl had been buying up houses in Meridian under a false name, and filling those houses with blaze. Think Game of Thrones wildfire. We find the blaze and dispose of it off the edge of a cliff, but Dervahl appears and attempts to blow up Meridian, not knowing that the blaze had been sabotaged. We fight Dervahl and some Glinthawks, and he's eventually imprisoned. The eclipse storm Meridian, and we get our showdown with Helis.
Helis!
No! Blocked again.
I am chosen. This was not meant to be.
Turn your face to the sun.
We get to fight off the corrupted machines with this sick blaster, but it's not enough. A Deathbringer drags Hades towards the spire, and we need to defeat the Deathbringer.
Hades is transmitting.
Arrival of Entity has been anticipated. Entity will not halt transmission. To contrary, calculations are precise. Presence of Entity has been accounted for.
Time to do what you came for.
We got them!
Master Override armed. To activate, state name and rank.
Elizabeth Sobek. Alpha Prime.
Master Override activated. Purging Extinction Protocol.
We override Hades and are able to stop the extinction protocol, which deactivates all of the Deathbringers and Corruptors. Aloy listens to some conversations between Gaia and Dr. Sobek while on her way to visit Dr. Sobek's body.
You often tell stories of your mother, but you are childless.
I never had time.
If you had had a child, Elizabeth, what would you have wished for him or her?
I guess I would have wanted her to be curious. And willful, unstoppable even. But with enough compassion to heal the world. Just a little bit.
And in a post-credit scene, Hades manages to escape his sphere and is captured by Silence.
Hello, old friend. Remember me? We've still so much to discuss. So much you never revealed. Your masters, for example. The ones who sent the signal that woke you. Knowledge has its rewards, don't you think? Well, let's begin.
The state of the world is restored to just before the battle at Meridian, which leaves me to do some cleanup trophies before I head to the Frozen Wilds for the DLC. There's actually a trophy I was technically meant to do before the final battle, which involves rounding up as many allies as possible. This doesn't change the outcome of the game, but it's basically just tying up some loose ends from side quests. Pick back up with Vanasha, who's hoping the Child King Itamen escapes Sunfall back to the Meridian, so he can be under the protection of his brother Avad. It turns out Uthid, who had the bounty on his head, was accused by Lord Bahavas of wanting to kill King Itamen. He put his bounty on Uthid's head because Uthid had discovered that Lord Bahavas was poisoning members of their own tribe for sacrifices. Next is Geneva of Sunstone Rock, who we need to help track down 3 criminals for. Then there's the A Moment's Peace side quest where we have to investigate rumors of tame machines. It turns out a piece of Gaia Prime nearby a Banuk camp was sending out a signal that restored the machines to their original state, but it stops working after some hired salvagers tinker with it and the machines become aggressive again. Our next quest is A Daughter's Vengeance, where we have to rescue a girl named Nakoa. In the Sun and Shadow side quest, we have to speak to a man named Lahavas who can't find his daughter and is worried that she unalived herself. Turns out she's just been getting freaky on this island with her boyfriend, but he gets captured and tortured by the Shadow Carja and eventually dies. It's kinda sad, but she goes back to her dad and keeps on living. I hope. Then there's the Honor the Fallen side quest, in which you have to help a priest. I'm not gonna lie, I skipped all of this dialogue, so I don't really know what it was about, but it was the final side quest for the All Alloys Join trophy. Then I went and knocked over 23 Grazer dummies in the Nora region for the second last trophy in the main game. And now we move on to the Frozen Wilds DLC, which focuses on the Banuk tribe. It introduces a few new weapons and new enemies, and the snow setting is absolutely breathtaking. We meet local chieftain Aratak, who's paying tribute to hunters that died fighting the machines that were frenzied by what they refer to as the Daemon. Basically their version of the derangement. In order to learn more about the Daemon, a local merchant named Bergren tells us we need to find a shaman named Aurea, and in order to find Aurea, we need to speak to her apprentice, Naltuk. On our way to find him, we meet Kamut, who's able to mod our spear if we retrieve a special part from way up north. I mean, I was headed that way anyway, so... We find Naltuk observing some sort of tower sending out a signal that's essentially another version of corrupting the machines. He also explains that Aurea is somewhere that only shamans are able to tread. There are a few of these towers around the map, and you need to either disable or override all of them for a trophy. I found the part needed to mod the spear, which is just a metal rod from an old jet. And on my way up the shaman's path to find Aurea, I encountered a new enemy type, a Frostclaw. Yeah, these things suck. After reaching the top of the mountain to Araya's retreat, we find a recording of what's referred to as the spirit being attacked by the daemon. Araya normally speaks to the spirit quite regularly, and in order to find out more about the daemon and the spirit, we need to travel to Thunder's Drum, that big smoky mountain at the beginning. But the chieftain Aratak won't allow anyone to travel to Thunder's Drum, so Araya suggests that Aloy challenge Aratak to become the new chieftain. To be able to challenge Aratak, we need to prove to the Werak that we are worthy, and we do this by clearing the bandit camp, winning at the hunting grounds, or by speaking to Sakuli. There's also a deactivated tall neck that we need to restore in order to see the entire map. Before we leave, Araya gives us a new weapon called a Storm Slinger. I got a trophy for learning all of the Frozen Wild skills, which are all of these on the right, and another trophy for 5 dismount kills. Frozen Wilds has its own set of collectibles called animal figures and paint pigments, who just happen to be for Araya's friend Sakuli. There's also Blue Gleam, which is this rare crystal that grows from old machines, and you can trade it for special Banuk items. Much like the metal flowers and vessels, you can buy trackers for these to show up on your map. I quickly found all of the animal figurines and got a trophy for making my first purchase with Blue Gleam. I also overrode all of the towers and found all of the pigments. One of the side quests is from this girl called Aloy, who asks us to drain a dam that was suddenly flooded. Inside the dam, we find that the control room has malfunctioned, and in order to start it back up again, you need a power cell. As we go deeper in the dam to get the power cell, we meet a man named Gildan who got stuck inside trying to get a looking glass from the storage room. We drain the excess water inside the dam, which gives us access to the power cell that gets us into the storage room. It turns out it was just a trick of the light, but Gildan is still happy that he gets to tell the story about meeting Aloy. We're then able to turn the dam's power back on so Aloy can go back to making mid-ass music on the pipes. We meet a girl named Varga who offers to upgrade 3 of our weapons. The Storm Slinger we got from Araya, the Forge Fire we got from clearing the bandit camp, and also the Ice Rail, which I didn't have yet, so I just upgraded the first 2. In order to do the upgrades, we need to hunt a Stormbird and a Bellowback. While hunting the Stormbird, I got a trophy for repairing 5 machines. We're now ready to challenge Aratak to become the new chieftain, and it's revealed that Araya and Aratak are actually siblings. The Chieftain's challenge requires us to hunt machines while scaling a mountain and setting up balloons as a signal. But as we're making our way to the last part of the challenge, we're ambushed by 2 frost claws. Obviously this voided the challenge, but Aratak forfeits the title of chieftain because he was impressed of how Aloy defeated the Frostclaws. Of course there's an ice rock breaker, bro. We upgrade the Ice Rail, which is the final challenge for Varga. So now that Aloy is chieftain, alongside Araya and Aratak, we're able to enter Thunder's Drum to find out the story about the daemon and the blue spirit. Sneaking past some machines, we find a cauldron door. A hologram tells us that Thunder's Drum is actually Yellowstone National Park, and that the spirit is Cyan, an AI system designed to keep the volcano from erupting. As we explore the cauldron, we find out that the daemon is actually the AI Hephaestus, which was in charge of the cauldrons used to create machines. Hephaestus discovered the Yellowstone facility and hacked into Cyan and started using it to create the demonic machines. We're briefly able to talk to Cyan, who says that the daemon has created elite countermeasures in the form of new machines, and that she's going to destroy the corrupted parts of the facility to stop them from getting out into the wild. But before long, Hephaestus is able to regain control and release the Fire Claw.
About. This won't be easy.
We can't let it stop us. Take it down.
Aloy attempts to purge Hephaestus but gets knocked out, so Araya takes over and is able to free Cyan at the cost of her own life. The facility starts collapsing and a heartbroken Aratak and Aloy manage to escape.
Above, quick!
Banukai.
Cyan is back at Array's retreat, and she's playing back recorded messages of Array's voice to Aratak. She comforts him and invites him back anytime he wants to hear his late sister's voice. Cyan tells Aloy that her Phasis wasn't actually destroyed as it was controlling her from a remote location. She further backs up the claim that the reason the derangement happened and why her Phasis creates aggressive machines is because the humans hunt the machines. But even if the humans stopped hunting them, her Phasis likely wouldn't stop. And even with the destruction of the facility, Cyan estimates the volcano to be safe from erupting for another 3,000 years. 5 other Fireclaws escaped the facility, so we need to go and hunt them down, and doing so gives us a trophy. We meet a group called the White Teeth, who say that some of their members haven't returned from their initiation test, which is 4 days and 4 nights of hunting on the glaciers. Refusing to go and look for them, Aloy takes it upon herself to track them down. She finds a girl named Ikri hunting some machines trying to protect her friend Malin, who is passed out with a broken leg. After fending off the machines, Malin is angry at Ikri for helping her as the Banuk refuse to lean on others for help. Ikri, being sick of this mentality within the tribe, decides to go her own way. Turns out her own way isn't very far away, as she's at the hunting grounds with her own challenge that we need to pass for a trophy.
You made that look easy. Here, you've earned this. Were you always so tough?
I also need to come first in all the trials at the actual training ground. Here's a tip: blast bombs. And lots of them. We speak to our friend Bergrand, who's owed a debt by 3 hunters. We need to find the hunters and help them take down a Scorcher, a Stalker, and a Snapmaw in order to pay their debt to Bergrand. And our last side quest is to help prove the innocence of a man named Inatut. Inatut was falsely accused of killing a Kaja soldier. Aloy investigates the crime scene and finds out the real killers were other Banuk hunters. But before Aloy can prove his innocence, he's exiled, laying naked in the snow. Aloy brings him some clothes and we fight off 2 Crossclaws, giving us a trophy for completing all the side quests. Our final few trophies are for killing 15 Scorchers, which I just farmed in the hunting ground trial as they're the first 2 enemies you face. Then I needed to reach level 60, but I was quite far off in terms of XP, so I just farmed the Ravager Control Challenge, which gives you 10,000 XP. And by the time you do all this, you've got pretty OP weapons, so I was able to do this in under 2 minutes. Our final trophy was to unlock the last skill. And there's the platinum. I genuinely enjoyed this game so much. The setting was absolutely beautiful, the story was incredible, and I can't wait to dive into Horizon Forbidden West. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it and subscribe to catch more platinum.